Hi guys, so I'm Stephanie, and I am actually doing an on-job practicum at New Hope Services with family preservation. However, I work for the CAPS program, which is also known as Child Advocacy and Parental Support. Today I will be talking about a dilemma that I came across recently with CAPS rather than family preservation. So, just to give you an idea of what we do in CAPS, it is a voluntary home-based case management service which is free to families with children between the ages of 0 and 17 years of age who are not otherwise receiving preventative case management services. So ultimately what we do is provide short-term, goal-oriented services to help families meet their maximum self-sufficiency potential. And some of the things that we assist with is things such as activities of daily living, financial and resource budgeting, parenting and family communication, and we also assist with finding resources and give referrals for things such as child care, domestic violence services, employment, utility assistance, housing, legal aid resourcing, physical and mental health care, substance abuse services, as well as food and nutrition. So in a nutshell, we assist clients with finding resources to better their home environment. While some people call in and refer themselves for CAPS, the bulk of our referrals come from the Department of Child Services, more widely known as DCS. DCS will sometimes refer to CAPS when there is not enough evidence against the client to substantiate, but feels as though the client and family would benefit from assistance in areas that would promote self-sufficiency. So just to preface you about the family has been involved with DCS around 8 to 9 different times, I believe. Reports made have ranged from neglect to physical abuse to significant drug use in the home. There have also been allegations made with concerns of meth production and distribution. However, nothing has been proven regarding this matter. I knew that issues in the home were far from ideal. So with CAPS, you have 7 days to make contact with the client. Generally, you begin with attempting to make phone contact. If this fails, you then engage in a drop-by visit. If and when no one is home during the drop-by, you then send an engagement letter in which they have 10 days to respond. After making the first 2 calls to this client and not receiving a call back, I then decided to do a drop-by visit at the end of my workday as the residence was on my way home. Walking up to the home, I noticed there were several windows open, including the window at the front entrance of the home. Anyone on the porch could see straight inside. There was a crib sitting right next to the open window. And based on the referral, I knew they had 7 children, and the youngest being 16 months old. If a child had been in the crib, the child could have easily crawled out and through the window, or could just have easily been taken from the crib. I then proceeded to walk to the front door. Once I got to the door, I noticed it was open. I knocked and did not see, nor did I hear anyone. While standing on the porch, I called out and asked if anyone was home. There was still no answer. I began to walk away, however, I then heard children. I waited for a moment, and finally a young girl walked out. I asked the girl if her parents or guardian was home. The young girl stated that they were not. I asked the young girl when they'd be back, and she stated that she did not know. I then asked her how long they had been gone, and she said that they had been gone a while. It must be said that this young girl looked a bit uneasy. In an attempt to make her feel safe, I assured her that her mother knew we would be calling or stopping by. I then asked how old she was in a manner that was not too drilling. She quickly responded that she was 13 years old. I knew this was not true, as the oldest child in the home was only 10, which was listed on the referral. It must be noted that the child seemed very well versed, almost as though she had been told what to say and how to respond if anyone were to stop by. According to childwelfare.gov, signs of neglect can include a child being watchful, as though preparing for something bad to happen, as well as a lack of adult supervision. While taking this into account, I asked if all of her brothers and sisters were there. She stated that just 2 were. I was reluctant to believe this, as I heard more than a few children in the back room of the home. I then politely walked away and told her that I was going to my car to get a brochure to give her mother when her mother returned. I then texted my supervisor, and she quickly called me back. Though it was after work hours, I did not know how to handle the situation. I quickly explained the situation to my supervisor. My supervisor instructed me to give the young girl my contact information and to drive around the corner, out of sight, and then call the police. The police then met me at a nearby store. The police knew the exact house I was talking about. They stated that they have had a lot of issues with this particular residence. Apparently Mom and Dad had gotten into a fight just 1 week previously, and Mom had left both husband and the children. I told police that I had concerns that the children were there alone and had no parental supervision. I informed them that the oldest in the home claimed she was 13 but looked much, much younger. I told them that I had my doubts regarding her age, as my referral said differently. I explained to them that all of the windows were open as well as the door. I told them that the little girl seemed unsure of her parents' whereabouts and was not able to verbalize when they were coming back. The police stated that they would check it out. They asked if I would like to go. I told them that I would like to remain anonymous, as I could potentially be working closely with this family. The police then called me from the home and stated that all children were there. The police basically told me what I already knew, that the oldest was 13 and that her parents would be back later. I told them that I knew that she was claiming to be 13. My concern was that she was a lot younger than what she was claiming, and though she stated they would return, I had my doubts. The police officer told me they could gather all the children and I could speak with them and try to get an answer. I told him that I had concerns, which is why I followed up with them. The police officer was under the impression that I was with DCS. I told him that I was not, and I was instructed by my supervisor to go home and make a report in the morning. According to the Indiana Department of Child Services, under Indiana law, any individual who has reason to believe a child is a victim of abuse or neglect has the duty to make a report. Therefore, each citizen of Indiana is considered a mandated reporter. And this is ultimately what I did in the end. I chose this course of action primarily because I had never been in such a situation and did not know what else to do other than call the police, as my supervisor had instructed. Ultimately, though I took action, I don't feel as though much changed. My hope was that police would look into the dilemma further and that they would do something. I was very upset, as I did not know if these children were truly unsupervised, why the child seemed so frightened, as if she wanted to tell me something but was almost afraid to. I hated that I had no answers even after action was taken. As far as what I would do differently, I will never do a drop-by again after 5 p.m. I believe more could have been done had it been earlier in the day, including an earlier DCS report, so I would know if the situation was being handled before I went home. My supervisor wanted me to wait to make the report so she could be there, as it was my first report that I had made. I wish that I could have done it that day, because I hated not knowing if the children were going to be alone the entire night or not. So yeah. So that was my dilemma. Thank you guys for watching. I look forward to hearing what you may or may not have done differently. And thanks again. Bye.